Hey, you guys did awesome. We just finished watching our video on vocabulary about empathy. And we had this last question. What are two examples of empathy shown in this video? And of the four, you guys chose one friend changing the plan from surfing to playing in the sand because the other was afraid. And then the second one was someone giving a friend space and listening. So you guys really got, I think, what empathy means. Let's go back to our KWL chart and just kind of review where we were. So when class started, we looked at our agenda and we saw what our learning goals were. I can define empathy. I can explain the importance of empathy, and I can define and describe empathetic behaviors. So let's go back and look at that definition. We started with what we know about empathy, and that's a hard word. So I'm hoping, and you guys can throw out in the chat just some comments if you feel better about what you know about empathy. And I see Jaden says, "Oh, I get it." Great. That's good. I'm glad that you're feeling a little bit better about it. So um, let's look at what we know. I threw out there empathy is, and Ryan put an emoji. He wasn't sure. That's good. I mean, if we don't know, we want to make sure we tell people we don't know, because if we don't, then they can't help us understand. Cindy didn't know either. And Laura said it's caring about someone else. And we talked about that a little bit and kind of started to feel like we knew what empathy meant. And then Chase had his clip art with the question mark, and several of you, like Mark and Sean, said, "Yeah, I'm with Chase. What does this mean?" Then we started talking about the wonder column. So before or during your research and participation in this lesson, record any questions you have about the topic. So that's our goal for the wonder column. And Kelly says, "What does it mean?" And Caitlin wondered if it was something that you would do. And then Joel Googled empathy and came up with that picture, which we may see again. And then Kim wanted to know, how do you do it? And Landon asked a really good question. Do you feel it? Is it something that you feel? So now that we've watched our vocabulary video, let's take a few minutes, and since we're all sharing this document together, we can all type in here together. And then remember, when you type in your comment, you want to make sure that you put your name in there, so that since we can't really talk to each other face to face, this gives us a way to have a conversation together. So let's just get a feel for where everybody is. I'm going to come back over here to the chat. Guys, throw out in the chat and let me know how you feel about empathy. Type yes if you think you understand it, and type no if you think I still need a little bit more explanation here. Yeah, I see. Okay, so Leslie and Ray want a little bit more help on that, and so does Stacy. So I'm seeing that we need to maybe go back and do a little bit more review. Let's come over here, and I'm going to go back to Ed Puzzle and do my back arrow. And that's going to take us back to our course. If you click on the empathy infographic, it's going to take you to this right here. This is going to give us a definition of empathy. So it's understanding and sharing the emotions and experiences of another person. So Charlie said, "Yeah, Charlie, you're right. That's like in the vocabulary video that we saw." Right. And that's where the friend was so excited about getting in the ocean with his new surfboard, and he just assumed his friend was going to want to do that too. But what happened? Yep, you're right. That was his friend was what? Yeah, afraid to swim. So what did the kid in the video do? Yeah, I see. Sean is typing in the chat. That's right. He decided to come up with a different activity that they could do together. So he was willing to understand and empathize with his friend's fear of getting in the water, and they went and did something else. So, yeah, perfect. So, when someone has empathy, they can imagine how someone else feels. They didn't necessarily have ever experienced that, but they can imagine how it feels, and then they can respond appropriately. And when they do that, they can problem solve together. And the most important thing, especially when we're working together on East projects, and especially our design thinking project, we want to make sure that we remain friends and keep that positive relationship. So that infographic is really going to help you go back and review what empathy means. So let's come back over here to the chat, and now let's look at, again, how are we feeling about empathy? Yeah, you're right. Thomas, that is a good point. We need to go back over here to our KWL chart. So what do we know about empathy? When we come back over here and look at our infographic, it's understanding and sharing emotions. So somebody go and type that for us. Okay, we'll give you a few minutes. You guys can remember we're all sharing this document together, so anybody can jump in and type. And I see that Jackie is typing for us here. You're right, right. Very good. Understanding someone else's feelings and helping them. That is a great definition. All right, well, let's go back. Does anybody else have anything they want to add? Yeah, very good. Okay. I think we're all kind of on the same page here, understanding someone else's feelings and helping them. Let's go check our agenda and see what we want to do next. So we finished the Ed puzzle. We've looked at our infographic. We've added some more to our KWL chart. We're going to keep doing that throughout this lesson and in lesson 2. And now we are going to listen to a book together about I Am Human, and then we've got a small group activity that we're going to do. So if you come back over here to the course, we've got our I Am Human Book of Empathy assignment. Now, what you guys did the other day was went ahead and opened up your accounts for the Epic Book app so that you are ready to go with that. So we are going to jump over there and watch that book together, and then we're going to jump into our small groups. Okay, welcome back. We all just read that story together, I Am Human, and everybody has their copy open on their computers from their Epic Book app. So you also have this Google slide deck open that we found over here in the assignment in our online course. And now we want to talk about what we're going to do. It's so hard when we're in an online class. We don't get to have the spontaneous group activities that we would if we were in the classroom, but we can still meet together in small groups and get to chat and discuss and share ideas. So that's what we're going to do with this. But let's talk about what we need to do. So we just read the book by Susan Verde, I Am Human, a Book of Empathy. And in the book, we hear the word compassion. We need to know what compassion means. And compassion means that we care about others. We treat them with kindness and feel a strong desire to help people in need. And we've seen this picture before, haven't we? Right. Yeah. Let's see, who was it that did that? We'll come back over here to our chart. Yeah, Joel added that when he Googled empathy. So do we think that empathy and compassion are synonyms of each other? Yeah, Kelly says she thinks so. You're right, Kelly. If you need it, you also have the copy of the empathy infographic in this activity that you're going to do with your teammates. And so I've split you up into groups already. Since we have such limited time, it'll go a lot faster. So you're going to want to find your group number and find your slide, and you guys are going to work together to answer these questions. So once we get finished talking about the directions for this assignment and the expectations, then we're going to jump back over to our Google Meet, and I've already prepared breakout rooms, and you'll get an invite to go to the breakout room, and then you guys will go and talk together. So there are 4 roles for each group. You have a question reader. So you've got the person who is going to read the question. You have the timekeeper, because it's really important. We're going to have about 10 minutes to get these answers written down. There's 4 questions, so you've got about, 2.5 minutes for each question. Some questions will go faster than others, but it's really important for somebody to keep up with the time for the group. And then we have the recorder, and that's the person who's going to write down the information. And then the researcher, and that's going to be the person that may need to go back over to the book to give information to the recorder. Now, all group members are going to talk together about what they think the answer is, but you each have your own specific role. You can help each other and support each other. If somebody needs help reading the question or pronouncing a word, the researcher can also jump in and identify definitions for words if there's a word in the question that you're not sure you understand. But before we jump over there, let's go through the questions together. So the first one is, being human means we can feel all sorts of different feelings. Identify one feeling that the boy in the story had and explain when you have felt the same way. Then we have, this is a book about empathy and compassion. Give one example from the book where the main character showed compassion for another person. And then the next question is, do you think you can practice empathy without compassion? Why or why not? Explain your answer. And then the last one is going to be, share how you have shown empathy to someone else. What happened? How did showing someone else empathy and compassion make you feel? So take some time. Now, we've talked about it. When we get back in there, it's going to be important that the question reader read those questions again, because I'm sure when you get back with your group, you're not going to remember exactly what we said. So let's come back over here to the meet. I'm going to open up the chat real quick. Does anybody have any questions? Right. Oh, that's a good question from Johnny. He saw his name on group 1, but how does everybody know what group they're in? If you will go to the last page in your Google slide deck, you'll see the group assignments. So there's group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 different groups, and you can see what group you're in. Now, when I open the Google Meet, you will automatically go to your group, and it's going to be really important that everyone keeps their cameras on and their mics on so that you can talk and share together. And then you will answer on your slides. And as soon as I open the Meet and the timekeeper gets in there, start that timer. All right. Any other questions in the chat? No, it looks like we're good. Okay. I'm going to be popping into each of your meets and answering questions if you have any. So I will going to get the meet started. All right. I'll see you guys there.